Joe Gibbs Racing is a powerhouse.
Every decision we made, we asked this one question: will this make us go faster?
Tremendous part of success over here is your pit crew.
I've never worked in a sport where there's more pressure than in a NASCAR pit stop.
We've assembled an elite group back there. They want the pressure.
Over 36 weeks, you gotta have a mentally tough group.
I live by a saying, I believe expectation is contagious. We got a job to do.
Everybody's taking these risks, and you see these people that are able to kind of ride that line. That ends up being who your champions are.
You can go as far as your mind, your determination, your motivation takes you.
Going fast isn't just making the race cars go fast, it's getting humans to go faster.
Everybody on every floor, on every component of this company is about this.
What does the director of player advancement do? What do you do?
So the director of player advancement at Joe Gibbs Racing has the opportunity of going out and finding young athletes and introducing them to a new sport that they never even knew existed.
You spend time and effort and resources to gain 1/10 of a second on the racetrack, but the human component in the pits literally can gain you seconds. I mean, we have former professional athletes, Division I college athletes. They would tell you that the competition in here is stiff.
Our goal is to find that perfect mesh of seniority, athleticism, knowledge, pit stops, and turn it into a successful ball.
We have development programs. There's a bunch of young folks out back that are gunning to get their shot on Sunday to be the one changing the tire or jacking the car.
You've got to beat him.
You have to, that right
you have to beat him out there so you can get pivoted around him, or you're stuck with him to your side. That's the biggest thing for the rear, I feel like.
Yes.
Okay.
Last one. 3, 2, 1.
Good. Way better.
We have guys who have pitted race cars for years in the best shape of their life, who are now, blessed enough to still be able to hang athletically with some of our guys that are fresh out of college.
Ready, 3, 2, 1. All right, boys. Okay, switch groups. Last time through with the 11. Nice job. Way to finish it. Way to put it together there. Even still with a lot of little things, right?
People ask me all the time, what do you do? I work for NASCAR. But what do you do? Man, I need days, I need months. I need you to show up to a racetrack to show you, just exactly what I do.
NASCAR.
For NASCAR.
NASCAR.
NASCAR is so unique. NASCAR races, they're all the things that people like. They're fast. They're dangerous.
There's a wreck on the final turn.
They're loud. When you see the number of people that are going to these things, it really is remarkable. For a first-timer, the scale is always bigger than they think it is.
Big day, huh?
Yes, sir.
This is probably the most people will ever see a race.
For decades, the Cup Series always comes down to those powerhouse race teams, and then everybody else is trying to catch up and just contend with those powerhouses. Joe Gibbs is a Hall of Famer in everything that he does. He runs a smart business. He surrounds himself with smart people, and they go out and hire very good people, and that goes down right from the drivers to the pit crews to the people working at the race shop.
Tell us mark it, please. Okay. Joe Gibbs interview, take 1. What's your favorite thing about a race day?
Race day? Winning.
Race day.
Born in North Carolina. I had nothing to do with cars or racing. It was all football, basketball, and baseball. My kids grew up on jet skis, motorbikes, anything with a motor. When JD graduated from school, he said, I'd rather do something, Dad, in racing. We put a dream on a piece of paper, showed up on Norm Miller's doorstep at Interstate Batteries. He said, who's your driver? I said, we don't have one. He said, where's your race shop? I said, we don't have one. And he goes, I said, Norm, this is a dream on a piece of paper. And can you believe, he said, let's do it.
I'm going to get shoved inside the number, so I got to change direction on that. That was a good job of the defense.
What does the football coach do? You know, he stands on the sideline and goes, hit him, kill him. And so now I'm going to move over and do something that's complicated, like on a race team. What I found out was everything in racing is just like football. The only difference is we have a car over here and sometimes it doesn't behave. The two worlds that I've been in, both of them are team-oriented. It's picking the right people and getting those people together. And if you do that, they're going to make you look good. Well, we got off to a tough start our first year in racing. We didn't win a race. And you're going, hey, is this too big for us? We started our first year with 17 people. And I felt like, well, maybe we can control this. Today, we're racing 3 different divisions, 450 people, and it's totally out of control. So,
people may not realize we're a dozen or so small companies wrapped into one company. We have our own aviation department. We have 3 airplanes. We have our own flight attendants, our own airplane mechanics and pilots. We've evolved into roughly 95% of the parts and pieces on the car we build right here in-house. We have people that have master's degrees from Stanford working on aerodynamics. I feel dumb just walking by their door, much less talking to them. So we have brilliant people here that are all trying to make our cars go fast. It is not uncommon every 5 to 8 years to do sort of a new generation of cars. But this one is sort of inherently different. This year may honestly be our biggest change in our history. We will essentially be assembling a car based on parts that were sent to us so that it sort of levels the playing field for all of the teams. We would be considered one of the larger teams. Not every team was building everything themselves, so in fairness, it's very difficult to come into this sport and compete with what we took 30 years to build. Now, everyone has a level playing field. That's both good and bad. If you had an advantage, hey, you just lost it. If you were behind, that's great because now you just caught up. But now we're all handed something, all right, go race. Our hope is that the same principles that made us great with all the other packages will make us great with these packages. We've got really good drivers, we got really good people, and we're gonna figure it out.
Obviously, there's change, and historically, Joe Gibbs Racing does really well with opportunity. So we say we can't sit back and do what we've always done. Such a big change has to institute some kind of change on our parts.
A generational change to an iconic car, yet a chance to find a new advantage in the challenge. Perhaps the biggest challenge on pit road will be this redesigned wheel, which goes from 5 lug nuts to 1, taking years of agility, speed, and precision out of play, and leaving pit crews searching for the next competitive advantage. What if we reimagine this whole thing? The next-gen pit stop choreography from Joe Gibbs Racing does just that. In the past, the tire carrier, front changer, and jackman ran around the front of the car, sending the rear changer round back. This meant the rear changer had to wait for the car to come to a pass before finding their mark, while precious time would tick away. And this is where the next-gen pit stop finds its advantage. By sending the rear changer in front, he's now in position and ready for the car when it comes to a stop, faster. Jackman drops car. All 4 race back around the front of the car, and here is where the dance gets Beautiful. The front changer is now at the rear wheel, and that rear changer is now at the front wheel. Fueler keeps fueling tires. Change. Jackman drops car. Game changer.
Like, there's constant examples of pit crews winning races.
Mhm.
Why is that not talked about? Like, from your point of view, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's a lot easier and a lot more fun to talk about the hero in the race car and what happens on the racetrack and the last lap pass or a driver dominating a race. But again, for that driver to get into that position, it all has to come together. And that means 5, 6, 12 trips down pit road and what your pit crew is doing.
If you're just a fan who's just starting out, it just looks like cars are turning underneath each other and sliding around, and the next thing you know, they're on pit road. It's not just randomly or when the driver wants to turn in. There's actually a huge strategy component behind everything.
Every pit stop is a risk versus reward assessment for everyone involved. Right down to me and the engineers as to what adjustments we're gonna call on the car and how much it'll slow the pit stop down. His rolling speeds down pit road, is he able to optimize his tack and gain every foot that he can? Is the pit crew in a position on pit road where they can see him clearly getting into the box and getting out of the box? The driver is only as good as the team underneath him, only as good as the pit crew's ability to get him out front with a shot to win.
The Wood brothers back in the 70s came up with this idea that the pit crews can make a difference in whether you win or lose. And then in the 90s, Ray Evernham said, well, I'm gonna go get athletes, going from 20-second pit stops to 15 to 16-second pit stops. But a lot of them were still mechanics. So when I got here, I found out that when I got the guys for pit practice and their workout, they had already worked an 8 to 10 hour day in the shop. And that was something I thought had to change.
Now, it's just widely accepted. I mean, I guarantee you go up and down pit road, there's not one team that isn't just full of some sort of athlete. And I think Mike was a part of that, right? You had someone come in from the outside, showed, hey, what can be done when you mesh things together, and maybe you're a little bit more open-minded as to the people that are pitting the race cars.
Whether you're changing the tire, whether you're carrying the tire, or whether you're jacking the car up. Those are 3 distinctly different profiles of athletes. We've assembled an elite group back there that can work well together, that buys into the team concept. They want the pressure.
Derrell Edwards, he's fierce, he wants to be the best. He's been an amazing acquisition. Knowing that high caliber guys like Derrell exist always keeps us on our feet. Kellen Mills is a staple at JGR. A fantastic teammate, strong as an ox. He's always wanting to go to the next level. Kellen is a pusher and he gets the most out of everyone around him. Mike Hicks, super talented. When you step up on the pit wall with Mike Hicks, you know you're getting ready to do fast pit stops. It doesn't matter what the situation is, practice, race, when it's time to go, it's time to go, and he always steps up. When we had a resignation on one of our cars in the tire changer position, we as a staff went back and forth on who might be the right guy to fill that role, and ultimately we took a gamble on Adam Riley. He's less than a year in his development as a tire changer, which is unheard of in our sport.
When I'm building a great team, it ultimately comes around chemistry.
There's a bunch of different components. You have the driver and he has to perform his function. You have the guys that are prepping the cars, right? They have to perform their function. And then you have the pit crews. And you really have 3 teams in one. And that wasn't always a good relationship, right? We had to work hard.
Team chemistry is very trial and error because you have a lot of new people that may not know each other. You have some people who do know each other, but like just on pit road, casually. I've seen it so many times where like one person on a team, even if they're performing well, is affecting the team end game by just being that guy.
There's still people. It still takes chemistry. It still takes interacting with one another. It still takes having respect and compassion for your fellow teammate. And if that chemistry isn't there, it just won't work at a high level. And if it's not working at the very highest level, you won't win.
A lot of these guys fail under pressure, and I've never worked in a sport where there's more pressure than in a NASCAR pit stop. How do you deal with pressure? Well, one of the things, what can I do to make that better? What can we do? We got to do this together to win. It's got to happen for these human performance things to ever happen. It's the foundation.
This whole season is different, right? There's different requirements for each position, and some people's weaknesses won't gel with another guy's weaknesses. You have to really balance it, right? Just physically as far as performance.
When I think about the importance of human performance and our partnership with P3, I feel it's given us the confidence to make decisions because we're better informed. We want the best athletes, the best guys, the best characters to play. And the only way to really find the whole package is to do a deep dive.
The whole point of going through testing the way that we do it, right? You know, stripping down your tights, throw these dots on you, ultimately is so we can start to get a much more detailed understanding of how you move. We want to start to pull out the underpinning mechanics that allow you to perform the way that you do when you're jacking a car.
We lean on P3 heavily. We have weekly conversations with them, and we're learning more and more about our athletes.
Could be the difference between an injury, could be the difference between like you getting out of the way or not getting out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing you want to have it when you need it. you know.
Kellen Mills, and I'm the jack man of the 18 car. Relative to other sports, sometimes you get recruited to do exactly that position, and other times you're somewhere in the proximity of that job, maybe doing something else, which was my case. I was gassing the 11 car when I first came to JGR. I was working in the background trying to become a jackman. Our jackman got hurt. I was able to move into his position. So it was kind of just being ready for that open door. Coming over to JGR with Coach Gibbs being the place, like his whole career has been about developing humans and getting people these around able to do more than they were able to do before. And that kind of permeates everything I've seen since I've been here. To see what that mentality does to the individual, it's pretty profound.
Play like you're playing.
Yeah, like, because you're gonna want to come in here hauling. I mean, right front, you're probably gonna be a little bit ahead. Yeah. Referee, if he's already pulling by your hands, you're gonna want to throw the steam at it.
So you can
it's
just
like, how do I get in there without losing any time, but also not like rocking one in?
Okay.
There's going to be mistakes. You know, we're trying to go fast at the end of the day. There's going to be things we got to overcome, but the meshing here at JGR is unreal, man. The culture is awesome, man. My dream was to go play in the NBA. Simply met a guy as I was playing basketball at High Point University that introduced me to the sport. I've always had that winning mindset, you know, and when I walked into the shop, I was blown away. So I put up the sneakers and picked up the jack. 3 years and I'm already on a cup car. And then that next year I moved up again to the main house car. With first race of the year, I went and won that race. Made history doing that, being the first African-American pit crew member to ever win that race.
We just won a Daytona 500.
Switch up here, 18 jump in. Let's do 4 on the left front, then we'll do 4 on the left rear.
My hopes and expectations for our veteran guys that are now being mixed in with the next gen athlete is, you know, that they have an open mind and they try to learn and they try to mentor. That experience that our veteran guys have, man, is so valuable.
Going into this year, I'm gonna approach it just like I do every year. I'm gonna go out there, work on my individual stuff, fine tune my things, try to find that extra 1/10 to 2/10 people are searching for. As a tire changer, this new rule change with the one lug, it's gonna affect me because it takes the accuracy out of the play. Like, you've kind of opened up the door to younger, faster, stronger athletes.
Adam Riley is one of our most recent development athletes here at Joe Gibbs Racing. We've been so excited from the day that he walked in the front doors, and not just because he could double backflip or jump higher than anyone in the building, but because of the light nature that he brings. Early on, I was like, man, I hope he's as fierce in competition as he is as lighthearted and jokey and fun.
Shout out to the camera guy.
To our surprise, he's a grinder.
2, 1.
My bad. You good.
I've always had dreams and aspirations of being a professional athlete, and that kind of pretty much died towards the end of my senior year because I ended up getting hurt. Never had any experience with NASCAR. The most was probably cars, movies. It was just something that wasn't on my radar.
When trying to measure Adam's success, you think about not making the big mistake. How are we as a staff and his teammates gonna have him ready for competition where he doesn't get a penalty?
Our veteran guys, they are the absolute best in the world at what they do. And our young guys, our younger athlete population have to learn from that if we want to continue our dominance on pit road.
I mean, maybe everybody's different, but nobody wants to go out there and be the guy that loses the race. And I've done it over and over. I've done it several times, but I've also been the guy that put him out first, you know, and I've been doing this a long time. And still to this day, it doesn't matter. I still get nervous on that wall.
You don't ever, well, for me, I don't do anything less than 100%. You don't go through life just being mediocre. I know I don't. I'm trying to take this thing as far as I can to be one of the best in the sport, really, you know, to make history.
This sport has done things the same for decades when it comes to pit crews. This is a complete change in what the sport has known and what pit crew members have known. The car is different, the pit stop is different. So pit crew coaches, for the first time, have to change how they approach things with their teams and how they are training and preparing their teams to go over the wall.
It's been pretty choppy out here, so we've got a lot of work to do.
It's so hard. Once you've been doing something for quite a while, it forces you to get creative and figure out the best way. It's an opportunity to gain an advantage.
What makes sense to do? What doesn't make sense to do? Like, where are we gaining or losing time?
It's going to change how you look at pit stops, and it's going to change probably the importance of pit stops, because now there's less room for error.
It's an intimidating time. We're working around the clock to try to be the best at the transition. And what Coach always says, it's the same for everyone. Everyone's got the same rules. Let's figure it out better. Let's adapt quicker.
It's a brand new era.
It's been a challenge over the last couple of weeks, the distraction that we got, whether our next gen pit stop was going to be allowed or not. Some of them hadn't been in the sport before, and the only thing they knew was the next gen stop. There's a lot that crosses between the two choreographies. So we're coming up with a plan to be prepared to run either stop.
Going into Daytona, we want to finish 1 through 6 for Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, and a 2311 banner that we represent. We're not willing to sit back and get our teeth kicked in. We would rather be the aggressor and get after everyone.
If anybody knew how much skill we have heading into the season, we'd really be upsetting a lot of people.
All you want is a decided advantage. That's all we want. And so you're trying to beat everybody. Everybody else out there that's got a race team is trying to look at you. They're trying to beat you.
People have no idea what kind of speed and what kind of consistency the team I'm on has prepared for ourselves.
It is race day here in Daytona Beach, and you could not ask for better weather.
Daytona holds 150,000 people, and it's packed.
You roll in there in February and it just feels different. The atmosphere is different. What that race means, you're not a race winner, you're a champion. You're a Daytona 500 champion.
From the infield to the grandstands, this race is completely sold out.
I mean, it's our Super Bowl. It's a build-up race. It's what you put all the hard work in, you know, as far as the off-season. Pumped up, you know, ready to go, ready to display, you know, all the hard work that we put in.
Race strategy for today. Don't mess it up. Win the Daytona 500.
Let's get one real quick. Hey, it's one of many, you know, so let's just be smooth, do what we know how to do. Let's get a quick prayer.
Have fun too.
Lord, just come here today and watch over these guys, Lord. We want to thank you for all the great things you bless us with, Lord. Lord, you watch over our families we're away, Lord.
I've been a part of a Daytona 500 winning crew twice with Denny. You don't win it by a mile. Those last 10 laps are so nerve-wracking. You win by that inch or the 3 feet.
And practice, 5 seconds was right here.
The 11 team goes down there with a lot of confidence. Denny Hamlin goes down there knowing he's going to be one of the favorites. He's very confident in his super speedway ability.
From a company-wide approach, they kind of sat us down early and said, hey, during this race, really make sure lug nuts are tight. If you have to leave the car up a little bit longer, it's gonna be worth that added insurance. There's no need to be super aggressive. Let's just kind of figure out where we're at, and then we'll go from there. So that was the Daytona was a little bit of a different pace than any of us had ever really had.
It was so much hype, so much build up. It was crazy. I've never had that much attention on me. Everything was super heightened. People were just watching your every move.
Let's go get us one. Hey, make sure the ball stays in his hands today. No mistakes. Let's have fun.
A neat move, and Kyle Busch is in third.
Bubba came in second in 2018. He's won at Talladega. He knows how to win the big race. And the other drivers are going to do what he does.
Joe Gibbs Racing sure has that number 18 car locked in. They're looking real fast, and there's no complaints over the radio from Kyle Busch.
The pit crews are only changing out the right side tires, but the refueling is slowing them down.
Denny Hamlin has moved from the mid-30s all the way to the front of the pack, and he's got teammates around for support. He really wants that 4th win here at Daytona.
Kyle Busch leads with Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell right behind him.
Daytona is one of those races where you gotta make sure you give Denny and Chris Lambert an opportunity to perform at the highest level.
Quarter to the 24, then a little gap.
That's Denny Hamlin receiving support from his spotter, Chris Lambert.
Here's Denny Hamlin, who is pushing Bubba Wallace. Bubba's car is a little unstable, so he's telling Denny to back off.
Denny told Bubba he'll stop pushing from behind. He said he's just getting ready for the home stretch.
Oh, we got a big wreck on the back straight. Looks like Kyle Busch mixed up with the 24 and the 21.
Tight out the back.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Tight in front all the way. Wrecking here. Wrecking. Rolling right again, just lock it down, let them come under you.
Okay, yeah, I thought Denny's car didn't look that bad, but he's clearly in rough shape.
I mean, there's nothing that we can do about it, obviously, right? It's immediately you go into damage control. Can we fix the car? There's nothing you can do about that. That's racing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you wreck.
Not really sure what happened. I haven't seen a replay yet. Then he got into a wreck, man, and ultimately it ended our day. Things happen, you know, that's a part of the sport.
You just got to take your lumps.
It's just a tough way to start, you know what I mean? You expect to do pit stops, you expect to display, you know, your talents as a pit crew. For it to be stopped short, it's frustrating.
We had a lot of right front damage where certain things were kind of tore up. You're gonna want to have it where as it's driving, that's not getting into the tires or anything like that, but at the same time, he's doing 200 miles an hour. Even like the tape that you're putting on there, if the front edge of that tape isn't taped down enough, the wind at that speed's gonna rip it up, and it's gonna cause a lot of trouble for him. So you're sitting there trying to get it where it looks kind of right, as fast as you can, but also trying to imagine in your mind, okay, how will this operate when he's at speed?
Kyle Busch sustained some real damage in that wreck, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Bubba Wallace, guys. He's been here before, and I think he's got a real chance this time. If he can just hang around until the final lap, who knows what'll happen.
There was a span of like 10 to 15 minutes. Bubba was running top 10, he gets to 8, he breaks that top 5, and I'm just... This whole thing, being on a pit crew, like, is God-oriented. What I love to do, alongside of being a professional athlete, was to do youth ministry with Young Life. It's a nonprofit youth ministry. I tell my kids for them to be on the biggest stage, like, it's possible. Why not you? Why not me? You can go as far as your mind, your determination, your motivation takes you.
I'm down here on pit road. Crews are gearing up for what looks like the last stop of the night.
And after this pit stop, that lead pack is going to form back up.
There you go. Good job. There's double wide. The bottom has the best momentum. 2 has the best momentum.
Yep, and we are in the final stage now, and that 47 car is making a move. He's coming around the...
Whoa, big wreck, big wreck. 7 cars tangled up.
People running into me, like, everybody was crowding our pit box. Like, everybody was just, like, surrounding us. There was a point where I didn't breathe for, like, 2 seconds. I was just like... And so he makes his move. I'm like, this is about to be wild. And as soon as he's coming down the last straightaway, I'm trying to get to the front to see, like, front row, like, how the finish is, and then just...
They're neck and neck coming to the line. Does Bubba have enough steam? No! Cindric holds on by half a car length, and another crash right behind them.
Not incredibly thrilled about how all everything went, so there's a lot of things for us to improve upon, but a lot of room to grow on our end.
This is a long year. You have to separate yourself from the racetrack, you have to separate yourself from the pit stop pad, and you just need to just be free. That's racing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you wreck. That's just part of it. You can wreck every week and win the next race and you're automatically locked in the chase. But you can't let a car running 25th or 31st or DNF affect your job when that car comes down pit road.
You get so many opportunities throughout a race to either win it or lose it.
Who is Mike Hicks off the track?
So I have 2 little girls. I literally put all my time into them. I have 1 little girl that races go-karts. That's a full-time job by itself. She's like super competitive. There's a lot of times that I don't have the go-kart near to what it needs to be, and like she'll get out of the go-kart and like throw her gloves at me. Like, this thing won't go. I feel bad because like I'm the one holding her back. Like, she should be up there running up the top 3, but I've got the go-kart where it don't turn. So like, yeah, she gets frustrated. Sometimes she cries. Sometimes she won't get out of the go-kart for like 3 minutes, just mad.
Dad didn't have the go-kart turning real well, but she made the best of it. I think we finished, I don't even know where we finished, but
I like seeing that competitive side, but when she wins, you also get to experience the other, how happy she is and sleeps with the trophy. Winning is fun and it's rewarding, but you race to win a championship.
good. First race is Tuesday night. See what happens.
Green flag here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and these fans are pumped. The 24's in the lead, but now Hamlin's charging up the inside. Kyle Busch trying to pass. Whoa, baby, they come together. And it looks like they're both in bad shape.
You get to certain races and it really comes together, and it's like another tier of existence. It's like, man, we are untouchable today. And then you have certain days where everything you prepared for just doesn't go right, and it's that kind of humbling part of existence.
Kyle Busch was down on pit road for almost 5 minutes, and now it seems like his team is throwing in the towel. A disappointing result, to say the least.
He is right on his tail. Oh, Hamlin couldn't get out of his way.
Definitely broke. The right rear tow bar's not hooked up. It ain't gonna race.
The worst thing this season, I'd probably say our performance. You can get pretty low, if you're not having a lot of success, on the track. And for everything not to be gelling all the time, it can get frustrating, man. To face all this adversity early, it's no problem. It's not how you start, it's definitely how you finish.
Welcome, the first of many road courses on this year's schedule. And this track is a doozy, 20 turns, 160-mile-per-hour top-end speed. Kiss your mama goodnight. We're in for a wild one.
So, all right, so we got to it, so we got to talk about it. Tell me about the situation.
So it was at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, and in the last stage with 38 laps to go. It's crazy, I remember that. I was running really well for a road course, like the best he's ever driven in his career. He comes around a turn and his wheel comes off.
That's a caution flag. What happened here? Bubba's wheel came off, and he's come to a stop in the gravel.
Adam came onto the scene in a flash, and I would measure his first couple races as really successful. Holding his own hasn't come without, him taking his lumps.
Yep, it's that front left wheel, and you can even see that lug nut pop off right there at the beginning.
Oh, there's no. A flood of emotion just came, a lot of doubt, questioning, am I really cut out for this? I was just shocked.
I'm sure that tire changer felt like he was doing everything right, but something clearly went wrong. It was only a matter of time before this happened. This new one-lug setup has been giving teams fits all season.
Mechanically, he did everything he thought was right, but his lack of experience really showed when he knew something was wrong, but didn't really know how to address it. The small lapse in judgment right there ultimately cost us a 4-week suspension.
And a $100K fine. So make sure they're tight. I did do the rookie mistake and went to the comment section. I don't know why, Twitter's the worst. I don't know, I did it to myself.
Is Adam fired? Heck no, are you kidding me? Adam has such a good head on his shoulders. He's such a fantastic athlete, but like after making mistakes, some guys, they're never the same. This will be a really big test, like, hey, can I bounce back and can I be at the highest level of our sport? Or is he gonna play scared and get past?
When everything had first happened and I was in the middle of the suspension and going to practices, going out every day like, dang, did I really take this for granted? Because I would always harp on, you know, have some seriousness in regard to what you do, but don't take it all the way serious to where you don't enjoy it. And I felt like I was enjoying it, and then the feeling when that happened, I was just like, dang, did I enjoy it too much? Like, I have to, you know, take full responsibility for what happened.
He did 2-a-day practices. Adam was here, raising his hand, just wanting to have the gun in his hand, really trying to find the feel so he doesn't duplicate his mistakes in the future. We've had our highs and lows with the pit department, you know, at this point in the season.
You know, Richmond was going to be special because, you know, we're debuting the next gen stop.
The first time our teams jumped off the wall to run the next gen pit stop, I had butterflies like I was there with them. But to be honest, it didn't start when pit road was open for the first time. It started the week leading into the event. We had naysayers from inside the sport. We had naysayers from the broadcast, people constantly telling these guys it wasn't gonna work, what were we doing? I feel like everyone was praying we made the big mistake.
It was challenging. There was a lot of guys that had issues with kind of how it was gonna go because there were situations that we just hadn't discussed yet, and it's like, man, if this goes wrong, I'm gonna be the one that suffers.
We were a little shaky. I think everybody was pushing, like, you know, because this next gen stop's supposed to be faster.
Where the pin needs to be strong.
Let's go front 45 here.
Sorry, Jeff.
Obviously, there's a ton of man hours that go into practice plans, preparation for events, but this whole thing started a year ago. And I just think about the internal arguments we had as a staff, and this isn't gonna work. Yes, it is gonna work. Well, why is it gonna work? I mean, the back and forth and just the really tough conversations that we had to have.
I don't want that to happen. I would have pegged it and it would have hit you. Okay.
We were able to kind of get all the distractions out of the way because we knew like within a few days we'd be doing it. We'd done the prep work, they had done all their research.
Hopefully it all pays off. I mean, it's give or take, you know, when it hits, it's gonna hit well, but if it doesn't hit, it's gonna be catastrophic.
So he gotta do the same. When he stepped, he needed to be like that versus going like this, straight out, because you can't get through him.
We are ready to race here in Richmond.
Well, they've been talking about it all season, but here's the debut of that new pit stop choreography. Let's see if it pays off.
Here at the 18 car, Kyle Busch, and they're trying it out as well. You can see the whole crew run around the front of the car.
There's been grumblings of kind of like what was going to happen and whether or not we were going to be able to pull the stop off and the speeds it was going to be. And then when we took it to Richmond, and everything was pretty impressively fast.
As the race was going on, everyone was up out of their seats and we were glued to the TV.
There it is again, all four around the front.
It started out very, this is the same time, or this isn't gonna work.
Well, it looks like there's the potential for real fast stops, but I don't know if the choreography is quite there yet. Let's wait and see.
We had like 2 mediocre stops, And, you know, we kind of rallied together. We're like, hey. We addressed it, we worked on it, we watched film, and the next thing you know,
Denny Hamlin with a much faster stop than our 2 leaders. Hamlin by 6/10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, those Joe Gibbs crews are looking great out there today. No mistakes.
Hamlin ready to battle it out, but they're back in 11th place. Still lots of ground to make up.
With the 18 in that race, I believe, having the fastest stop of the day.
The 18 boys crushed the field, essentially, by over half a second of pit stop time. You could feel the mood shift.
Denny is racing on much fresher tires and he's charging up the field.
Well, this is getting interesting.
It kind of dawned on people as it was happening.
Wow, Denny Hamlin's crew is really booking.
I think everybody had the realization like, I'm gonna have to learn how to do this.
towards the end of the race, we were having super fast pit stops.
Emotion in that moment was really high, and to watch the times just keep decreasing and keep decreasing and keep decreasing, we were so fired up, man.
Hamlin moves up the field.
Denny Hamlin is in the right place at the right time.
5 laps to go, and they have turned this race on its head.
Wow, I didn't see this coming, but it looks like Denny Hamlin may take the lead.
Great pass by Hamlin. Things are looking good. Coming up to the line. Can anyone catch Denny Hamlin? No! Denny Hamlin has come all the way back and won his home race. His 47th career win, and a memorable one at that.
Great job with the car there, team. Long way from Phoenix, man. We're proud of you guys.
Our last pit stop worked in the Gabe Hart strategy perfectly, and everything went right, and we capped it off with the win. So it felt good, man, and it showed that it can be done, but it also showed that it takes a collective effort.
I would be absolutely furious if it didn't go well, just because the amount of time and effort that was sacrificed to get that. They were very aggressive, and the belief they had and the research they did, like some of us took a decent amount of convincing to kind of get it through. I mean, hats off to them.
Some groups, one bad pit stop turns into 2 and then 3, and some people can't get out of that hole. It surely shows what kind of group that I have around me.
It just solidified the hard work that, like, hey, if you trust the process, you know, eventually it'll pay off.
There's so many factors that go into a race. We have great men and women who work at Joe Gibbs Racing, and every department contributed to the race win. We had other organizations call us and was like, hey, good job. You know, everyone was cheering against you, and you guys stood in there in the face of adversity and you knocked it out of the park. It just gives you the confidence to be like, man, we're really pulling our weight here and then some.
The Gibbs influence is all about culture. You want everybody to know they're part of the mission. Our mission is to be great and to have influence. You see it in the individual lives of people who have been transformed, that their lives are actually better because of their time at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Not too long ago, Coach Gibbs called just this spontaneous meeting for everybody, like people in the shop, people on pit crew, everybody just to be in the shop. And he was just telling us how proud of us he was, like everybody, like anybody that's associated with the company. He just said thank you. You don't get that often, especially from somebody with the credibility as Coach Gibbs.
To be part of this team, first of all, you're working for someone who's like a legacy. So it's kind of, you feel very proud. I don't want to work for a team that's not great. I like to win. It's just fun. It really is. It's very fulfilling as well. So you're able to have this really enjoyable time with these people that you truly like, but also you are helping their careers go forward.
Probably 98th percentile for all athletes, all sports you've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're freaky.
I have this, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a talent, but I'm really able to work with these guys and My plan was, if I can master this one lug stuff, I can go on to be a coach and work with guys and get them up to speed faster and make them the best. I think that's kind of what I enjoy.
My wife does a little bit of NASCAR traveling, so it's cool that she gets to see, exactly what I do, or I get to see it here and there at the racetracks. It's fun. She supports me. She knows I'm a big-time competitor. She sometimes tells me slow down and, take the foot off the pedal, but hey, I just can't.
This sport will humble you. As you can see, it will humble you pretty quick. Just kind of the upliftingness from both teams was like, okay, they want me here.
I hope, for our sake and Adam's sake, that he is super successful and he can sit here 10 years from now and tell his story about hey, my first couple races wasn't so hot, but look at me now.
I love those guys so much. We've all come to be this tight-knit community, and every time I see them, it's all hugs and smiles.
Tell me about where you see Joe Gibbs Racing in the future.
I would have said in 1991 that we were going to have 17 people and race one car, and it was going to be a hobby. And it took off from there.
Joe Gibbs wakes up and goes to bed thinking about one thing, and that's this.
Our world, the pro sports world, is continually growing. Right now, our attendance is up, our TV numbers are up. I'm excited about where we're going.
Joe decided early on, if we go fast, sounds simple, lead the most laps, win the most races, everything else will take care of itself. Every decision we made, we asked this one question: will this make us go faster?
The advantage is in the work that you put in. You get rewarded for the work that you put in, and our guys have committed to it. Just all the development that we needed them to go through, they deserve to be rewarded.
You never know when your next one will come in NASCAR, and that's the crazy part about this sport. You could win one now and never win again. We're trying to critique small things, so when we get into the chase, we're full speed ahead. We're not guessing anymore, we're not trying anything out anymore, and we got a plan at hand.
If there's more speed to be had and we can get comfortable with that higher level of speed with a mistake or two before the chase gets here, you're gonna wanna be coming into the chase looking as aggressive as possible, especially if you can manage it because you've done it over the past few weeks. And now that we've got a win under our belt, it really buys us some insurance on our ability to experiment and see how much speed we really have.
This is what it's about. Whether it's the person upstairs, down there, the culture is to make this number as low as you can and what you do.
Every piece of the analytics, we break it down. Thousandths of an inch, hundredths of a second. We try to evaluate it, manipulate it, using it to our advantage to optimize the day. But it's people. People are always gonna win in anything you do. Not the numbers, not the parts, not the pieces. And that's the part of my job that year in and year out, I learn to fall in love with more and more and more, is providing an environment where our people can succeed.
When I stand before God someday, I don't think he's going to be talking about races that we've won or football games that we won. I think it's going to be the influence we've had on others. So hopefully I'm making an impact and a positive one.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging. Ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven. Got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that. It's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up. I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're in hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities and never come unless you paying attention. So no, I can't miss that. Moving. MVP, I got the record. I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy. They gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming. Had to work something cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans. Partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking even no ends. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice. it's my time, think it's my. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, yeah. Run it, ooh. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah.